Alright, so let's do a little math here real quick for Bernie Sanders. It's crude math because these numbers change all the time, but that's okay. All we need is the big picture here. So Bernie Sanders has said, quote, CEOs at Merck and Pfizer each make almost $50 million a year, and seniors' median income is $25,000 a year. So pharma CEOs get rich, charging the world's highest prices, while seniors cut their pills in half and skip groceries trying to afford them. That is disgusting and has got to end. End quote. Now first, let's just take a look at the assumption buried in the numbers that Bernie Sanders is using. The CEOs make a lot of money and seniors have to skip out on groceries and cut pills in half. I'm assuming Bernie Sanders thinks that the high pay those CEOs are receiving results in the tough situation seniors find themselves in. Otherwise, why would he arbitrarily mention those two things consecutively? So let's assume Bernie Sanders is right and both of those CEOs each make $50 million a year, even though a quick Google search came up with the CEO of Pfizer only making about $28 million a year and the CEO of Merck only making about $21 million a year. But let's call it $50 million each, totaling to $100 million a year for both of them. Let's just go with the higher number to make it harder on ourselves for fun. Why not? So seniors account for 34% of all prescription medication use in the U.S., and about 119 million Americans are on some form of prescription. So that means about 40.5 million seniors are on prescribed medication in the U.S. That means you could whittle those CEOs' salaries down to $0 a year. Take it all from them. Don't leave them one red cent. If you do that, and then let's say you redistribute it all to the seniors who are struggling, that means you can cut each senior a check for about $2.46, enough to buy an extra pack of gum per year. So this is just ridiculous, and it seems pretty obvious to me what Bernie Sanders is trying to do here. He's not offering a solution. He is not pinpointing where the problem comes from. All he is doing is trying to demonize someone who has a high salary, and he's trying to convince people that if they could just band together and take everything away from those rich people, that these problems will be solved, or at least diminished. Well, unfortunately, if they did that, they would come to the realization that there are tens of millions of them, so taking the money and wealth away from the ultra-rich and spreading it across 100 million people means that each person essentially gets nothing. It would be like trying to make the ocean taste like lemon water by throwing a lemon into the ocean. It's not going to work. And by the way, you want to talk about medication being too expensive, you cannot have that conversation without mentioning the FDA and the mountainous, labyrinthian regulations imposed on that industry, which adds huge substantial cost to the products we end up with in the US. And, of course, the IP laws that destroy competition and prevent nearly anyone from entering the marketplace to try and compete. You want to talk about the high price of medication. A high salary for a CEO is a drop in the bucket compared to what the gunk of government in the gears of the industry do. But of course, Bernie Sanders will never mention that. He's only interested in pitting classes against one another, while the true culprits, the government, are omitted in nearly every sentence he utters. But that is it for now. Like and subscribe. It's a huge help, and you please take it easy.